Fans detected something wrong for years. This beautiful Cabaret and Logan's Run star looked different. Dark rings around his eyes. His face altered. His voice weakened. Doctors initially diagnosed cancer. They erred. Michael York confessed at 83. A uncommon sickness ravaged him. His 45-year-old gorgeous home was sold. Moved near Mayo Clinic. After a great career, he faces his darkest tragedy. He was born in a modest English hamlet during World War II. His name was Michael Hugh Johnson. Even as a child, he was between worlds. His mother was a talented musician, and his father was a gruff Welsh Royal Artillery officer. His discipline and ingenuity shaped him early on. He had an older sister and two twin sisters, one of whom died hours after delivery. The family experienced tragedy and adventure early on. At 3, Michael jumped off a coal house to fly and smashed his nose. It sounds risky, but it shows how far he'd go to feel authentic. While growing up in Sussex, he felt protected, but desired more. The National Youth Theatre accepted him at 17. That broke him, from calm school plays to East London's gritty stages. Though the streets were tougher, the theatre was vibrant. He toured Italy performing Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, performing in old towns and learning to act in languages other than their own. He learned acting and perseverance from the experience. He wasn't distinguished by his blue eyes or sophisticated voice. He put himself into work. Young actors vied for attention, chased the craft. He learned to speak, breathe, and move. He maintained that discipline. Even then, each step felt like a voyage. After that, he attended Oxford. Most students partied or relaxed over breaks, but he invested in theatre. He read plays, performed in classical shows, and rehearsed with the youth theatre in summers. He alternated between experimental pieces and Shakespeare, working ceaselessly. That blend provided him variety. He wasn't confined. Modern discourse or centuries-old poem, he could manage it. Critics noticed him. Not big, but enough to continue. After university in 1964, he didn't pursue glamour. He immediately joined Dundee Repertory Theatre in Scotland. It wasn't ostentatious, but genuine. You had to memorize lines quickly, play different characters weekly, and perform in front of demanding audiences. He became a real actor there. He became Michael York and built a reputation. His performance in The Hostage, a difficult and contentious piece, displayed his range. The words were lived, not merely spoken. Something changed everything. Olivier personally invited York to join the National Theatre. Olivier was legendary. Few performers got within a mile of him. York was working with Titans just months after graduating. Despite not getting starring roles, he didn't care. He took on smaller parts, listened, watched, and absorbed everything. He learned from experts how to hold a stage and make quiet louder than speaking. He played Shakespeare, historical dramas, and classics. He played a watchman, soldier, and nobleman. He made an impact in every capacity, no matter how minor. He had tea in the Old Vic canteen one afternoon during a break. While watching him, Franco Zeffirelli approached and asked if he wanted to make movies. Things can change quickly. You go from pouring milk into your tea to becoming a star. Actually, it wasn't luck. Years of quiet, hard work, risks, mistakes, and decisions got him there. Zeffirelli moved in 1967. He cast York as Lucentio in the lavish Shakespeare film The Taming of the Shrew, starring Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton. York made his film debut. His age was 25. Most young performers would have collapsed under pressure. Millions at stake with two of Hollywood's most explosive stars. York persisted. He soon mastered cinema acting by blending classical lines with physical comedy. His audiences loved him. Even skeptics admired his sincerity and screen presence. Queen Elizabeth II attended the London film premiere. Michael York became more than a theatrical performer after that. The Map showed him. That film unlocked cinema doors, and TV did too. In the same year he appeared in the BBC drama Forsyte Saga about an affluent British family. York portrayed Jolly, a young, sensitive person stuck between tradition and pride. Massive series. 26 episodes, grand settings, exquisite costumes. Few noticed at first. Most homes didn't have BBC Two. In 1968, BBC One re-aired it, sparking a cultural explosion. Over 18 million watched the finale. Even the USSR bought rights. It was BBC's first global TV hit. York was in the middle. His visage was everywhere on both screens. His breakthrough came in 1968. He returned to portray Tybalt in Romeo and Juliet under Zeffirelli. The $850,000 budget was high for a Shakespeare picture. Production was dangerous. Zeffirelli cast genuine teens as the leads, a first. Olivia Hussey was 16. Leonard Whiting was 17. As Tybalt, Juliet's spiteful cousin, York, 25, played with passion. He lived the lines, not simply read them. Tybalt fought Mercutio and Romeo in raw, swift, and terrifying duels. His red cape was famous, his parts were tense, and the picture was emotional. That film changed everything. Romeo and Juliet was Shakespeare's largest box office blockbuster, earning about $39 million worldwide. That's over $300 million today. It received 2 Oscars and a Best Picture nomination. It evolved into a Shakespeare picture teens wanted to watch. Young viewers were captivated. They saw themselves on film feeling love, hatred, and heartbreak. Tybalt was more than a villain in York. He was authentic, driven by pride and rage. Critics noticed. Now he was more than promising. He was vital. York rose from theatrical newbie to international sensation in 3 years. It all came together because Franco Zeffirelli, the brave, unpredictable director, saw something others missed. York was allowed to develop, learn, and flourish. Michael York broke boundaries in 1969 to 1971, when other young performers were playing things safe. Heroic or romantic roles weren't his goals. Instead, he chose odd, dark, or unlikable characters. York, 27, appeared in The Guru, 1969. A British rock star seeking enlightenment flew to India. This wasn't a peaceful, loving voyage. He was selfish, egotistical, and unclear if he cared about spirituality or not. The movie was released after the Beatles visited India, and many were attracted by Eastern things. The film, shot on location, stars the great Indian actor Utpal Dutt as the sitar maestro compelled to instruct this foolish foreigner. Their scenes went beyond music. It was a moral conflict. Tradition versus ego. East versus West. York's genuine acting came from his calm uncertainty, never really grasping his surroundings. This increased its honesty. The 1970-something for everyone followed. York wasn't shy this time. He played Conrad Ludwig, a charming, cold-hearted vagabond who seduces men and women to join a wealthy Austrian family at 28. He was unromantic. He lacked honor. He was handsome, menacing, and cunning. He slept with his masters. He killed to get his way. He utilized people as tools. Hollywood legend Angela Lansbury played the countess he manipulated. Their scenes resembled chess. Him, always 3 steps ahead. In the film, someone asks, "Can you sleep with anyone?" York's character adds, "If I have to, but I have my preferences." One line encapsulated the persona. In 1970, playing a bisexual character without apology was daring. York owned it, not just played it. The picture was rightly compared to Mr. Ripley. It was equally weird and brilliant. York switched to war thrillers with Zeppelin, By 1971, he wasn't a killer or lost soul this time. The man was between nations. He played Scottish officer Geoffrey Richter Douglas, whose mother was German. His diverse background made him ideal for a secret mission. British intelligence asked York's character to stage a defection during World War I when Germany's Zeppelins terrorized British cities. Though not a traitor, he had to act like one. A deadly, double-edged plan. He boarded a huge German airship as a spy, knowing one mistake could kill him. The picture gradually created suspense, with moments of quiet, distrust, and tight quarters inside the floating killing machine. York didn't portray the character as brave. He played him as a confused person, torn between loyalty and blood. That heightened its appeal. Michael York took on a life-changing task in early 1972. In Cabaret, he played peaceful British academic Brian Roberts, who gets drawn into 1930s Berlin's chaos. This musical wasn't ordinary. This Bob Fosse film with Liza Minnelli shattered taboos. York's bisexuality was rare in Hollywood at the time. The picture grossed nearly $42 million, and York's performance was notable for both his words and silence. He conveyed yearning, perplexity, and sadness with subtle looks and motions. York dances with Sally and the Baron in a memorable scene. He falls for the man more than the woman without saying a word. People behind the scenes advised him not to play the role. "It's too hazardous," they said. York never saw it that way. Playing someone else wasn't risky to him. It was man. Another event happened in that film. York and Liza Minnelli were close friends. Two teenage actors found one other on a hectic set. Filming in Berlin was no vacation for Fosse, a perfectionist. They clicked after hard days and terrible nights. York was 30. Cabaret shaped Minnelli and her career at 25. Their friendship continued after filming. Years later, sang backing for her at concerts and late-night events. He supported her through her marriages, addictions, and troubles, just as she supported him in the beginning. York changed course a year later. From Berlin cafes to dusty French roads, he became the brave, fast-talking D'Artagnan in The Three Musketeers. In December 1973, the picture made York an action hero. As cheap as Cabaret, but with swords, duels, and horse chases. He played a rural boy with huge goals who clashed with experienced musketeers and slowly gained their respect. Critics complimented his charisma and passion in the part. The physical performance was energetic and swaggering. The picture was supposed to star the Beatles, but York stole the show. He battled hard, trained hard, and smiled through it all. Just like that, he went from quiet professor to swashbuckling combatant. York joined one of film's most gorgeous casts in 1974. The movie Murder on the Orient Express was a real incident. The Sidney Lumet-directed picture starred Albert Finney, Lauren Bacall, Sean Connery, and Ingrid Bergman, and elevated York. He played Count Andreni, a Hungarian ambassador with a wife-related secret. He was cool and protective here, unlike in The Three Musketeers. Despite his quietness, he had heat. When Poirot queries his wife about a sleeping pill, York defends her and fights back. It grossed nearly $38 million and proved York could do it all. Be gentle, bold, dangerous, and kind. York's mid-1970s trip was anything from tranquil. He played a British officer in colonial India in Conduct Unbecoming in 1975. He played Lieutenant Arthur Drake, a youthful, idealistic guy caught up in a dark controversy. His initial role is defending another officer in a covert trial. The deeper he explores, the more twisted things become. A formality becomes a passionate mission for justice. York's performance intensifies as Drake finds alarming regiment secrets, from naive newbie to man risking all for righteous cause. York abruptly switched from period drama to futuristic drama a year later. He played Logan 5 in Logan's Run in 1976, a futuristic enforcer in a society where no one lives past 30. He hunted runners, people fleeing their fate. Logan asks questions after his life clock is tampered with. His ideal world crumbles. He escapes with Jessica 6, evading death and discovering life outside the dome. Logan returns to reveal the truth, crashing the system. York was defined by this job. Famed in science fiction, he also pushed limits behind the scenes. In one memorable scene, a computer splits Logan's thoughts into holograms to question him. York starred in the first holographic film. In one scene, he played 7 different selves. It was unusual, technical, and innovative. Some thought he did his own stunts in the ice cave sequence, but his holographic work made headlines. The film's effects won an Oscar and redefined sci-fi visuals. York tried something new in 1977. In the miniseries Jesus of Nazareth, he played John the Baptist with Franco Zeffirelli. It was a worldwide TV event. His passionate performance, especially when he baptizes Jesus and declares him the Son of God, stood out. York's role gave the show drive and passion, making it a classic watched by millions.